You know this feeling. You are fine around most people. You are calm, centered, steady. Nothing really shakes you. But the moment an attractive woman enters the room, something happens inside you that you cannot control. Your chest tightens. Your mind speeds up. Your breath gets shallow. You start overthinking every sentence. You suddenly feel smaller, less important, less valuable. You suddenly feel like you are not enough. You do not become a different man. You become a reduced version of yourself. The version that doubts, that hesitates, that questions every move. The version that cannot relax. You feel this shift and you hate it, because deep down you know you are not a weak person. You know you have lived through difficult things. You know you are capable, intelligent, self-aware. You know that in most other areas of life, you hold your ground. But in front of a woman you truly desire, your nervous system betrays you. You think the problem is her beauty. You think the problem is lack of confidence, lack of game, lack of experience. You tell yourself that other men are just naturally better at this. But none of that is the real reason. The real reason you feel not enough around attractive women is that your brain is reacting to an old wound and an old belief about your worth. That belief was written long before your first crush, long before your first date, long before you had any idea what attraction meant. When you see a woman who is beautiful, feminine, confident, and highly desired, your brain does something automatic. It does not just see a person, it sees a measurement. She becomes a mirror that reflects her deepest fear. The fear that says, I am not enough, and sooner or later she will see it. This fear did not appear out of nowhere. It usually begins in childhood. It begins in the moments when you learn that love, attention, or approval were not given freely. Maybe you had to be perfect to be praised. Maybe you had to be quiet to stay safe. Maybe you had to be useful to feel wanted. Maybe you had to earn affection by taking care of other people. Whatever your story is, your nervous system learned one lesson very clearly. My value is not automatic. I must earn my place. So you grew up into a man who measures himself constantly. You measure your achievements. You measure your body. You measure your status. You measure your social skills. And when you stand in front of a woman you find very attractive, your brain pulls out the same scale. It does not see her as a human being to get to know. It sees an exam you're afraid to fail. This is why your body reacts so intensely. Your heart starts racing, not because she is magical, but because your survival system believes something huge is at stake. Your mind starts scanning for mistakes. Your body goes into performance mode. You stop being present. You stop feeling your breath. You stop enjoying the moment. You start fighting for your value. You can feel the exact moment this shift happens. 1 second you are just yourself. The next second you are trying to be impressive, trying to be funny, trying to sound interesting, trying to read her mind, trying to say the perfect thing. You are no longer connected to your own truth. You are chasing a reaction. And a woman can feel this even if she does not have the words for it. She feels the way your eyes search her face for approval. She feels the slight tension in your smile. She feels the way your jokes reach instead of relax. She feels that your compliments are not pure expression, but invitations for validation. She feels your nervous system reaching out and pulling on her energy. She does not feel your grounded presence. She feels your self-doubt. You tell yourself that you are intimidated by her. That is not fully true. You are intimidated by the version of yourself that you think you have to become in order to deserve her. Some fantasy version. Funnier, smoother, more confident, more dominant, more successful, more everything. That pressure crushes the real you. The man who exists right now never gets a chance to stand there as he is, because he is always busy trying to become someone else. Feeling not enough is not really about women. It is about self-abandonment. Every time you feel attraction, you leave yourself. You stop asking, do I like her energy, her mindset, her values? And you start asking, does she like me? Did I say that right? Did I sound stupid? Did I ruin it already? In that moment, she becomes the judge and you become the applicant. You hand her all your power without even realizing it. This is why your presence collapses. This is why your voice loses depth. This is why you either talk too much or go completely quiet. This is why you replay the conversation in your head for hours later. You are trying to win an interview that only exists in your imagination. Here's the truth most men never hear. The more you place an attractive woman above you, the further away from her you feel. The pedestal you build for her is the distance you create from yourself. You feel out of her league because you are the one creating the league in the first place. A woman does not feel safe with a man who puts her on a throne. She feels pressure. She feels expectation. She feels that you are depending on her for a feeling of worth that you do not know how to create for yourself. That is not romantic. That is heavy. On a biological level, it does not read as masculine safety. It reads as emotional risk. Now I want you to do something simple but powerful. Go to the comments right now and write this sentence. I choose to stay present around beauty. Not I hope, not maybe. I choose. When you write it, you send a new instruction to your nervous system. And if you feel called out in a good way right now, subscribe. Because we are going to keep unpacking the psychology that has been quietly running your attraction life without your permission. Now let us go deeper into what actually changes this pattern. The first shift is where you place your attention. Right now your attention leaves your body and attaches to her. You study her expression. You study her tone. You obsess over what she thinks. You keep checking whether you are doing well. That constant scanning is exactly what makes you anxious. Your nervous system never feels safe because you are acting like the entire moment depends on her response. From now on, your primary job is to keep some of your awareness in your body. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your spine. Notice your breath. Slow it down. When you speak, let your exhale finish the sentence. Do not rush to fill every silence. Let your words land and let your body stay open. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are practicing staying with yourself while desire is present. This is what real masculine presence feels like. It is not about lines or tricks. It is about the ability to stay rooted in your own center, even when you want someone. Especially when you want someone. Any man can be calm when he feels nothing. Very few men can remain calm when they feel a strong pull. That is the difference she feels. The second shift is how you see her. If you see her as a prize, you will always feel like a contestant. If you see her as a goddess, you will always feel like a servant. If you see her as a human being with flaws, doubts, and wounds of her own, you will start to relax. You will stop performing and start relating. Ask yourself real questions. Do I actually like how she thinks? Do I respect how she treats people? Do I feel more relaxed or more drained around her? Does she know how to listen? Or does she only talk about herself? When you start evaluating her instead of only hoping to be chosen, your energy changes. You stop acting like a boy seeking approval. You begin to move like a man who also has standards. Attraction feels very different when you remember that you also have a choice. The third shift is to stop seeing your fear as proof that you are not ready. Your fear is simply a signal that your nervous system is used to shrinking in the presence of desire. That is all. It is a habit, not a destiny. You break that habit by letting yourself feel the fear and staying anyway. You let your hands shake a little and you keep talking. You let your voice feel tight and you speak anyway. You let your heart race and you breathe slower on purpose. Each time you do this, you send yourself a new message. You show yourself that you are capable of holding intensity. You demonstrate that you can feel attraction without losing your center. Slowly, your brain stops associating beauty with danger. It stops ringing the alarm every time you want someone. It starts to accept that desire is not a threat. Here is the darker truth that most men avoid. A big part of why you obsess over attractive women is because they distract you from the deeper emptiness you feel when you are alone. When you fixate on her, you do not have to feel your own unresolved shame, loneliness, or self-doubt. She becomes your escape. Your fantasy of being with her is not just about connection. It is about finally feeling like you are enough. This is why the pedestal is so dangerous. When she becomes your imagined cure, you stop doing your own work. You delay facing your own pain. You delay building your own life. You delay strengthening your own backbone. Everything becomes about getting her, impressing her, keeping her. Meanwhile, the part of you that feels small and unworthy never truly heals. It only hides behind obsession. The real path out is brutal and liberating at the same time. You have to accept that no woman, no matter how beautiful, can give you the feeling of being enough. She can reflect it, she can celebrate it, she can amplify it, but she cannot create it from nothing. That feeling has to be built inside you. Through discipline, through self-respect, through facing your own fears, through keeping promises to yourself when nobody is watching. When you begin to live that way, something subtle and powerful changes. Attractive women no longer feel like judges. They feel like options. You still appreciate their beauty. You still feel desire. But you no longer feel like you are standing in front of a panel deciding your worth. You are simply standing in front of another human being, deciding whether your lives should overlap. Your shoulders drop, your breathing deepens. Your humor feels natural again. Your eye contact softens. Your energy stops begging. You are not trying to convince anyone. You are simply being yourself and watching who resonates with that. That is the state where real attraction happens. You will know you are changing when you find yourself in front of a beautiful woman, and you notice the familiar anxiety begin to rise. But this time you do not leave yourself. You feel your feet. You feel your chest. You breathe slower instead of faster. You talk a bit less but with more truth in every word. You listen. You do not overshare. You do not sell yourself. You just exist. She might stay. She might go. She might feel interested. She might not. But for the first time, the result does not define you. You walk away the same man either way. That is what it means to feel like enough. And here is the paradox. The moment you stop using women to fix your self-worth is the moment women begin to experience you as deeply attractive. Because your energy finally says, I want you, but I am not afraid of losing you. I see your beauty, but I do not forget my own value. I am open to you, but I am not abandoned inside myself. A man who can hold that energy in his body will never feel small around attractive women again. He will feel desire, but not collapse. He will feel nerves, but not shame. He will feel excitement, but not panic. He will stay present. And presence, not perfection, is what she has been searching for the entire time.